What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason, Joe, and Crams are here, and today we are talking about songs that we think are better live than they are in their studio incarnations. I generally tend to prefer the studio albums, even some of those landmark live albums that people always talk about. Usually I still go back to the studio versions. Of course, there are exceptions, and there's probably more exceptions that I'm forgetting. But that's what we're talking today. We're each going to give you 5 or so of those type of songs. Who wants to start?
You do.
I do. All right. Okay. I think a fairly obvious one is one that I think most people agree is the quintessential version of the song. I Want You to Want Me by Cheap Trick. The version that was a hit was the live version. The version that the radio still plays is the live version. The studio version is very weird. There's like all this like tinkling piano on it. It's very strange and wimpy sounding. So that's definitely got to be better. Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. I mean, playing it in Folsom Prison, what could be better than that? Just brings a whole new life to the song, and hearing the crowd react to it, it's just a whole different experience. Then I'm going to go Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss, the early Kiss records. I love them. Production wise, though, admittedly not great, and they just have a lot more energy in the recordings on Kiss Alive. Then I'm going to go with Ghost Train by Counting Crows, the version from their VH1 Storytellers. It's disc 1 of their 1998 live album. I think there's a lot of really cool, interesting acoustic type of arrangements on that album, and I like to hear all of them. But this is the one that I think really improves on the studio version. I think it's one of the weakest tracks on August and Everything After, and I think it's one of the best tracks on the live record. And then for my last spot, I'm gonna go with some J Gals band, and you could almost go with any J Gals band. They're one of those bands that are most well known for their live records. I'm gonna go with Musta Got Lost, which I think is really cool on Blow Your Face Out. So those will be my 5.
Okay. All right. You want some pretty obvious ones, which is lame. I could pick. I love live albums the most among the three of us. I mean, I think Joe would agree that you could pick almost anything off Okanokos by My Morning Jacket as a superior version. Then, so the one that I'm going to specifically pick out there is Lay Low, which has this really cool, just heavy drum part come in, and the guitar just echoes throughout. And it's probably a little bit harder and faster live, and it just kind of slugs a little bit once you hear it on the studio version. Next, I'm going to go with some Rush, and I think Rush sounds great live, but I think the biggest one, and this is one of the reasons why I still love the song, but this specific album didn't climb my Rush rankings. Anytime they do any part of 2112 live, I think it sounds much better than the studio album. The studio album has the acoustic guitar in it, and it just doesn't have kind of the thrash and fury. I mean, Neil really just goes ape shit on the drums in some of those fills when he does them live. Next, I'm going to go with a Rolling Stones song that I love the live version of, especially on the Steel Wheels tour, of Undercover of the Night, which is a pretty good recording, perfectly fine. But Ron Wood is just an absolutely disgusting solo on the live version. It's got a lot more pep to it, it's got a lot more swagger, and especially in the rhythm section, it is just propelling forward, rolling around like a tire on a motorcycle. It's so good. Here's another one that is a little probably unknown. The song, I don't remember what the name of the live album is called, but it's Stereophonics and probably one of their most known songs, Dakota. I feel like that song could have been a hit if they used the live version. It's got so much more passion. I think it's a little bit flat on sex, violence, language, other, and it really just comes right the hell at you here. It sounds absolutely amazing. And then I can't find an actual live version on an album. So this is a little wild card and it's just for Joe. But there is video of this that I actually kind of like this song in the video. Hate it anytime I hear it on the radio. My Life by Billy Joel, when played live from the River of Dreams tour, is pretty tolerable, mainly because the drum work is just insanely good on it. But I hate the studio version, and I can't find an actual album version of it. So I'm going to go with Seven Bridges Road by the Eagles as my final pick. Absolutely classic. Um, yeah, I automatically just think of everyone like in the crowd getting excited. Um, is that my last one? Well, I'm going to throw out Whipping Post by Ellen Brothers too. Just so much better on the live version.
Is
No.
there a studio version of Seven Bridges Road?
I don't. There's got to be somewhere, but
I don't
maybe
think
not
so.
by them. No, then I'll go with Whipping Post. I'm not
Oh,
going
yeah.
with the Joel.
You had it till the end there. Whipping Posts. No, way better studio. It's like the best song of all time. So good.
It's the studio version is really good, but I love the live version.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. The obvious ones, of course, I Want You to Want Me, just so much better. I remember when I went back, because I'd heard it on the radio 1,000 times. I was like, oh man, I got to hear the studio version of this because this one's so good. And I heard it, I was like, this is the lamest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Like, what? How? It boggles my mind that they turned the studio version into how good the live version of I Want You to Want Me is. And No Woman, No Cry, of course. My list here, I got a lot that I like the live version of. Usually I'm a studio album guy, but there's some particular songs that I think really shine live. I got Green Manalishi with a two-pronged crown, Judas Priest. My favorite version is on Turbo 30, the remastered version of Turbo at somewhere in Kansas City, I think, which seems like an odd place for Judas Priest to be rocking out, but they speed it up a little bit more over the Hellbent for Leather version, and it's just even more ferocious. One that I mentioned back when we did the Talking Heads discography, I love the live version of Psycho Killer from Stop Making Sense. And I don't know, the studio version was always a little disappointing after it. It's just creepier, has like a whole new dimension live on Stop Making Sense. And it like David Byrne really channels like the serial killer vibe, and the sparseness I think works a little bit better than on the album where it just sounds like a band playing like a kind of, I don't know, it's just a regular song. I think it works better live. Uh, I'll do some Billy Joel. She's Always a Woman. Songs from the Attic, which is a huge step up over the weird and wrongly sped up version from Cold Spring Harbor. The version you hear on the radio, that's the one from Songs from the Attic. Just Billy, right with the audience, just singing his heart out. Love it. And then we'll do Of Wolf and Man from S&M by Metallica. I think the strings really add like a kind of horror movie element to it. It's just a little more dynamic. And I think even the guitar solo from Hammett on that one's a little better live. And I think my favorite on Okonokos, probably It Beats for You, or maybe Gideon. I think they're both really great. But that's not my pick. I just wanted to mention that. I'm going to go with Maxwell from MTV Unplugged. This woman's work, the falsetto that he hits live is just mind-boggling. It's so good. It's so on pitch, so perfect. He has such an amazing voice. Totally nails. And I don't know if he surpasses the Kate Bush version, but it's like right there. It's really, really impressive what he does. Is that five? Might be
Yeah,
four. Five?
I want to throw out to Paranoid when you get Randy Rhoads in there. I think on the Ozman Cometh Greatest Hits, there's a version of him, and it's really cool because Ozzy's like egging him on. Like at the end, he's like, "Come on, you shithead!" And he's just like, just chugging it out like he's grating cheese. He's just like, "God damn it!" It's awesome.
All right, let us know what your favorite tracks are that are improved in their live versions. Drop them down in the comments. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet done so. Thanks for watching. we'll see you in the next one.